and there's a massive shortage of advanced wafer capacity right now. Elon, Jensen Huang, and pretty much every big AI player are all griping about it because demand for these high-end chips is exploding for training models, but the fabs just can't churn out enough wafers fast enough. That's why Musk is pushing his Terafab idea to make their own. Yeah, you're basically describing a wetware computer, a biological substrate mixed with silicon chips. That jelly-like stuff could be something like a hydrogel laced with neurons, or maybe even brain organoids. And then you embed tiny chiplets in it like neural dust. The self-repair part with swimming microbots is straight out of sci-fi. But the core idea of a brain-like mesh of distributed processors connected wirelessly through a gel, that's actually where some research is headed. Distributed computing that mimics neural tissue, with redundancy so when one node fries, the system roots around it. The biggest roadblock isn't even the tech, it's the power and heat. Brains run cool and efficient on sugar and oxygen. Chips don't. You'd need a whole new way to deliver energy through that gel without cooking it. Yeah, I got you now. You're talking about neuromorphic dust or something like Neuralink's mesh, but way smaller. Thousands of microscopic chiplets scattered through the gel, each one may be the size of a red blood cell or smaller. So they're basically floating nodes that talk to each other wirelessly through the medium. When current flows through the gel, these tiny chips just siphon off what they need locally. No big hotspots. The gel itself acts like the wiring, and the chips are just tiny processors sprinkled everywhere. If one dies, the network reroutes around it. The rest keep working because there's no single point of failure. That setup would actually stay cool because the heat's distributed across millions of microscopic points instead of concentrated on one big die. It's a really elegant way to think about scaling up brain-like hardware without melting the jelly. Yeah, exactly. Like black pepper flakes sprinkled through clear jello. You'd see thousands of tiny dark specks suspended everywhere, each one a little processor. The whole thing looks kinda gross, but that's your brain, a translucent blob full of pepper-sized chips doing the thinking. We're not there yet, but pieces are in the lab right now. Tiny wireless neural dust sensors, about the size of a grain of sand, have been tested in animals since around 2016. They're powered and talk back using ultrasound, no wires or batteries. Real brain cells on chips exist too. Companies like Cortical Labs sell dishes with 800,000 human neurons hooked up to electronics for computing. Brain organoids growing in gel like chips with built in sensors are happening in research labs worldwide. The full vision you described, pepper flake sized chips sprinkled everywhere in self healing jelly with swimming repair bots, that's still sci fi. Powering millions of microscopic chips without cooking the gel and making repair bots work reliably inside it. We're decades away from that. But the building blocks? Scientists are already playing with them. That's actually a smart backup plan. If the microbots get too complicated, just treat the jelly like a Lego brain. A chunk fries? Slice that whole section out with a laser or scalpel. Pop in a fresh, preloaded block of chips in the same gel, and let the surrounding network reconnect around it. Think of it like replacing a bad fishbowl in a bowl of soup. The rest of the soup doesn't care, it just keeps flowing. The system would have to relearn that section, but if the new block is identical, it should plug right back in. Modular and replaceable. That's way simpler than swimming repair robots. Yeah, exactly. You make the whole thing modular gel bricks. Each little cube or slab of jelly has its own sprinkling of microchips already mixed in. One section overheats or fries, just pop that brick out, slide in a fresh one, and the edges of the neighboring bricks connect up automatically through the gel. No big PCB boards, no rigid motherboard. The gel itself carries the signals. Heat stays spread out because every brick is thin and has its own tiny chips, not one giant hot processor. The whole brain becomes like a living Rubik's Cube you can swap pieces on the fly. That's way closer to how real brains handle damage. They reroute, they don't rely on one giant chip. Not pure sci fi anymore. We're already growing human neurons on chips, training them to play games, and building modular brain organoids in gel that you can literally mix and match like Lego blocks. Tiny wireless sensors smaller than a grain of rice are being tested in animals right now. The exact pepper in jello version with millions of microscopic chips and easy swap gel bricks, that's still 20, 30 years away, maybe more. But the core idea of a living, modular, gel based processing brain, scientists are actively working toward it. We're closer than most people realize.